Now we will discuss nature or nurture, universals, systematicity, and variability. Closely connected to theories of first language acquisition are the concepts of nature or nurture, universals, systematicity, and variability. The important debate, or which is you can say a very controversial debate, is that of nature or nurture. The nativists support the idea of nature, that is, that innateness is present at the time of birth, that is nature, that a child is born with the innate ability to acquire a language, and again the Chomsky's idea of universal grammar being present at the time of birth. So this is nature. Nurture is the claim of behaviorism, or it belongs to the behaviorist school of thought, which says that it's not just the innateness, but rather the social or environmental factor. They are the ones that play an crucial or important role in the development of language. Then we have universals. They believe that children from any part of the world, belonging to any culture or any social circumstances, they follow universal acquisition stages. That means that the universality of grammar or universality of language, which is the deep structure of a language at its deepest level, is common to all. So the process or the stages that children follow in terms of acquiring a language, it is universal. Systematicity refers to a child's ability, or you can say a remarkable ability, to infer phonological, structural, lexical, and semantic system. And in the middle of that, we have variability. That is, children, if something they have learned once, it can be changed or forgotten due to perception of new language system. Now we will look at all these separately and try to understand what these concepts are. So we have nature, that is language, or you can say gene, that child is born with the language acquisition device, and the concept of universal grammar, it is there. Now nativists contend, or they believe, that a child is born with an innate knowledge of or predisposition towards language, and that this innate property, which is LAD or universal grammar, is universal in all human beings. The innateness hypothesis was a possible resolution of a contradiction between the behavioral notion that language is a set of habits that can be acquired by a process of conditioning. For years, linguists, psychologists, and educators have been engaged in this nature-nurture controversy. Now, what nature provides innately in some sort of predetermined biological timetable, and what are those behaviors that are by environmental exposure, which is nurture. Now, according to Derek, human beings are bioprogrammed to proceed from stage to stage. Like flowering plants, people are innately programmed to release certain properties of language at certain developmental ages. Now, talking about universals, closely related to the innateness controversy is the claim that language is universally acquired in the same manner, and moreover, that the deep structure of language at its deepest level may be common to all. We have Maratsos, who basically enumerated some of the universal linguistic categories under investigation by a number of different researchers, that is, word order morphological marking, agreement of subject and verb, reduced reference, which is pronouns and ellipses, and noun classes, verbs and verb classes, questions, negation question formation. Much of current universal grammar is centered around what have come to be known as principles and parameters. Now, in order to understand principles and parameters, Cook gave an interesting simple analogy that rules of the road in driving universally require the driver to keep to one side, that is in United Kingdom and Japan, and in other keeps to the right, which is in the case of United States and Taiwan. So the letter is parameter. So parameter vary across languages. Now universal or universality is which is present everywhere, but the parameters are the specific guidelines or specific options which vary situation to situation or culture to culture. Understanding the systematicity, one of the assumptions of a good deal of current research that has happened is with regard to systematicity of the process of acquisition. Now from a pivot grammar, which is 2-word utterance, to 3 and 4-word utterances, and to full sentences of almost indeterminate length, children exhibit a remarkable ability to show or demonstrate or to be able to infer the phonological, structural, lexical and semantic system of language. And variability, individual variation in the process of learning, that is the rate of development which varies language to language, individual to individual, situation to situation. So learner language is characterized by systematicity and variability. To conclude, the acquisition process goes through various stages of development. Different schools of thoughts have presented their point of views regarding the acquisition process.